And so the candidate thinks, oh, I've got this position, I've interviewed for it, but the company hasn't made up their mind about it. Sometimes the level, sometimes where a report, and then sometimes there's issues with budget. Oh, we're going to put it off until the next quarter and things like that. And that can be very frustrating for a candidate, because when you operate on, when we're all in business, right, we take charge, we get things done, and we get them done on time and quickly and so forth. But from a candidate's perspective, you don't have any control over any of that, right? So it's very frustrating, and weeks can go by. And my last role that I was in, my last interview was in a July one year, and I kept in contact with the recruiter. And finally in October, they said, hey, we're ready to hire the position, right? And so you're all that time, you're like, what's going on, right? And so I think a lot of it is the companies don't always have their act together when they're going to hire positions. And people have to be careful, especially on LinkedIn, because you'll see jobs that continually get reposted, because what their system does is it goes out into their ATSs, sees a position, repost it. And you got to really pay attention to when it was originally posted and how many candidates were there, because if you're over 100, you're probably wasting your time in terms of candidates.
And I think, that's the thing too. I keep hearing a lot of people that are going through this, right? The cycle, and I'm getting these reminders, getting these emails, and, and I'm like, there is no formula, right? Obviously, network and people, are some of the best ways to get introduced to the hiring managers, the decision makers, whether again, that be a full-time job, a contract position, or temporary, whatever it is. But the thing that, you're persevering, right? You keep fighting, right? I know it's challenging. Sometimes it's discouraging, as you and I've talked about, and I love the fight, that you always have had and others have had. And, what's your suggestions, right? Because it is tough. There's things that people could quit. They don't want to persevere through, but what is your suggestion to the folks that are looking for jobs? How to decipher, like you said, oh, should I just throw my hat in the ring for the ones that are getting reposted on LinkedIn or other job boards, 100 applicants submitted, versus, how to decipher between real recruiters, real internal people, because there's a lot of fakes out there. You and I both get constantly hit up with a lot of people trying to bring us on to get our information. I feel like if we're interested in something, we send out our information. They're just using that just to capture our info. They're devising us, right? I
Yeah.
get nervous about that. But what's your suggestion to the folks that are in the position looking in this tough market?
Well, I think the first thing you got to do is do a good job of targeting exactly what you want to do, right? And then look for the companies who do that sort of thing, right? When you see a job posted and there's not a lot of applicants, make sure it's a job that you really want, right? Because if you take a job you don't want, pretty soon you're going to be looking again. Either you're going to get fired or you're going to quit out of frustration, right?